Namaskar, good morning to everybody, good day. This is Engineer Suraj Singh from Faridabad, Bharat, India. Back to you in connection with talking about our nation's constitution in continuation to previous talks, previous discussions, and to further this issue so that you understand and everybody understands who will come first time what is Bharat ka Savidhaan, constitution of this country, greatest document of this country, first document of this country, without which we stand nowhere. Bharat ka Savidhaan, without which we stand nowhere, and this is our life, legal life document. This mandates our legal life, our statutory life, our lawful life, without which we cannot claim our identity, we cannot claim anything. We belong to India, Bharat, because of this document, which is our holy document. To an extent, we, people of this country, are concerned. People may accept or people may not accept, but facts cannot be denied. And facts remains that we are bound by this document in a legal way, in national and in international affairs. No one can deny that. This document is not simply a document, it's a pool of information, rights, privileges of everybody, and it's kind of bigger, big prime charter, like more significant than Magna Carta of England. Magna Carta, which is like a constitution of our country, it has similar powers as ours, but ours is more matured and more informative than anybody else. Even the constitutions of our countries are not as strong as ours is, not the descriptive ours is a very comprehensive document, and people must understand this. This is kind of service I'm extending to your base of society and base of nation and society, that I expect you to get awareness, get some information of this document if you want to understand this nation, Bharat, and people of this country, and management of this country, and government of this country, and every institution that works in this country. We are not simply a country. Bharat is not simply a country by name, or it's not simply a country by geography it covers. It's a nation that is a subcontinent, and it was a bigger subcontinent like a continent before 1947, but it was a fractured continent. Now it's a unified continent in the sense that there are countries like Bharat and Pakistan isolated 70 years back, and Bangladesh was bifurcated few decades back, since 40 years back. Uh, Constitution is constitution. No one can deny that. But there are people who don't like it. I don't bother about that. I don't take into my consideration existence of those minds who don't respect this. You respect this or you don't respect it does not make any difference. Your ideology remains with you because you are from that ideology. But there is no question of any ideology involvement when constitution works and it stands mandated. I don't care of I care of to what religion you belong, to what sect you belong, to what faith you belong, and what caste you belong. If somebody may belong to some caste or religion, it doesn't make a difference to an extent this constitution is concerned. This document is essential for everybody, whoever is a citizen of this country or whoever is a foreigner here. It applies to each and everyone like a mandate, like a statute, like a charter. I have to draw my rights, my charter from this constitution, and you also have to draw your privilege and charter from this constitution. Your rights and privileges are included in the constitution in direct definition as well as in indirect definition. Direct definition means where there are articles giving about you or somebody else or some institutions rights and privileges directly or indirectly, means you have those articles provisions for you or for someone else, as well as indirect and concealed rights and privileges which are underneath descriptions of preambles of this constitution. Preambles is the main structure, prime structure under which this whole constitution has been embedded, as well as all those statutes, bylaws, delegated legislatures, regulations, etc. under this constitution had been framed or are being framed or shall be framed, all constitute a framework of law, framework of constitution, constitutional description, constitutional extension. Constitution book is one, constitution provision one, basic constitution one, but whatever has been constructed under that, produced under that, is all framework of this constitution, or you can say production of this constitution. No law, no statute can be constituted, can be, you can say, framed without compliance of provisions whatever contained in this constitution description. This constitution was was produced by people of this country under direction, under guidance, under, you can say, control, or you can say under contemplation ideology by freedom fighters who laid their lives to sacrifice for this country, and headed by Dr. Ambedkar, who was chairman of this committee. So we have to understand how this document came. This document is not result of one person or one chairman or one minister or one prime minister. No, this document is a result of contemplation by all people of this country, how they wanted to live, and keeping how they used to live pre-independence, how much they suffered there, and what happened to whom, and those people who had been suppressed by privileged groups. All those have been covered as a resolution in this document, that those plights of those who had been suppressed by those high class people must go and must have gone by now. But unfortunately, this happened, and still those people have still been covered, it's been suppressed by some high profile people, because those high profile people are not interested in this document. Those profile people are now in power. In fact, now they think that this document must go and be replaced by some other document, which is complete irrelevant requirement, irrelevant thought, because this document cannot be removed from mind, from soul, and let us respect of our constitution, our rights, and our country. People cannot digest removal of this document, abrogation of document from by any means or by any ill power or any anti-national power of this country, whatever they may be. This anti-national may be in government, or this anti-national may not be in government, but this document is a public document, it's a national document, it's a world document, because many other countries have also drawn benefit by guidance of this document. Many countries which were later liberated and had not that much capacity to frame this, and they just took consultancy from these documents. Just like we got references from many other countries. For example, two-third part of this document was taken from India, and from Government of India Act 1935 from British, whereas many one-third remaining part was taken from many other countries like Australia and like many other countries, and which we drew for all other provisions. So this is not simply book. Again, I'm telling you, this is a power, and this is authority, and this is, you can say, a direction, and this is a guide for everybody. This is not so simple, not so complicated. Both, it is descriptive document, it is a document in language you want to understand is, and this document can be understood not in just reading, but in understanding its letter and spirit. It may say something, but every article got many meanings of that. For example, name of this country is given in first article of this constitution, which is Bharat and India, but people even don't intend to know that. They just intend to some other name, which is Hindustan, an official name which doesn't exist anymore now. But you see leaders and others who are illiterate people, I cannot say even illiterate, the foolish people, they name this as Hindustan. Unfortunately, higher profile people in government and non-government both call them like that foolish name, which doesn't exist anyway. People have confusion that that name which exists. This name does not exist now. That name has died forever, and we cannot bring back that name to this document, because there's only official name is Bharat and another official name is India. So we cannot deny this fact, and this requires to be remembered. I have talked to many people. This is no problem. Word Hindustan has come to tongue. It cannot go silly. How many years shall you take to stop speaking this word? It's more than 70 years. You cannot even remember. You cannot even know name of your home. You cannot name of your parent. You cannot name your land. So what type of person you are? You know a name that has gone, that you did not see in your lifetime, but you are saying that that name cannot leave my tongue because your tongue is not in the control. Well, this document is such a great philosophy, such a great law, such a great direction, such a great, you can say, assembly of provisions for our people, that it is very difficult to understand, to interpret it thoroughly, because research is still going on, developing laws are still on. Even all courts and all judges and all lawyers do not know exclusively all laws of this nation. If you want to know certain law, you have to go to some lawyer and ask him about law. But unfortunately, people don't understand how we are governed. 80% people or 90% people of this country do not know how we are governed. They simply say, yes, yes, there is law and there is a rule and nothing is implementable. Some people say like that, and I feel that. I feel their ignorance. I feel their apathy. Why they say like this? Educated people speak like that. Forget about those who are not educated. And this is really, you can say, a very timid situation, very coward situation. You don't want to learn something. You are just inclined to live in life, just to live and eat and drink and sleep, and that's it. We have to know. Well, हमें जानना चाहिए हमारे देश का डॉक्यूमेंट कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन भारत का संविधान आखिर है क्या. हम क्यों नहीं जानना चाहते? भारत के लोग, भारत के युवा क्यों नहीं जानना चाहते? क्यों शर्माते हैं इस बात में जानने के लिए? क्यों सोचते हैं कि सरकार जाने या भारत के वकील जाने या जज जाने की डॉक्यूमेंट में क्या लिखा है, हमको इससे क्या लेना देना है? अरे आपको लेना देना तो है इस डॉक्यूमेंट से, क्योंकि आपके ऊपर लागू होता है, आपके पूरे देश के ऊपर लागू होता है, आपके पूरे समाज के ऊपर लागू होता है. आप इसको नहीं जानेंगे तो किसको जानेंगे? आपकी किताबें सब्जेक्ट्स बाद में आती हैं, क्योंकि जब आप पैदा होते हैं आप पढ़े नहीं होते, आप छोटे होते हैं, लेकिन उसी समय से संविधान आप पे लागू हो जाता है. बाकी किताबें आपको उस टाइम नहीं पढ़नी होती हैं. इसलिए बहुत जानना आवश्यक है कि आप जिस घर में आए हैं वो घर कौन सा है, संभालने वाला कौन है आपको, आपका वहाँ क्या कर्तव्य है, आपके वहाँ क्या अधिकार है. अगर आप ये नहीं जानेंगे अधिकार कर्तव्य को, तो आप कैसे समझेंगे आगे? बिना अधिकार जाने, बिना कर्तव्य जाने आप आगे नहीं चल सकते, आप काम नहीं कर सकते. जो आप काम नहीं करेंगे तो आपको अधिकार नहीं मिलेंगे. ये एक प्रिंसिपल है, सिद्धांत है, जिसको आपको समझना चाहिए. भारत का संविधान एक ऐसा डॉक्यूमेंट है, ऐसा कानूनी एक ऐसा रेफरेंस है जिसको आपको जानना अत्यंत आवश्यक है, क्योंकि जगह जगह पर आपको प्रॉब्लम आएंगे तो इस डॉक्यूमेंट में सारे आंसर होते हैं. आपको कानून क्या कहता है, नियम क्या कहता है, आपके अधिकार क्या कहते हैं, आपके राइट्स क्या कहते हैं, सब आपको जानने के लिए इस डॉक्यूमेंट को जानना बहुत जरूरी है. आप ये नहीं कह रहे कि आप एक्सपर्ट हो जाइए इसके, हम ये नहीं कह रहे कि आप सब कुछ जान लीजिए इसका, लेकिन समझ तो सही थी इसके अंदर आखिर है क्या. इंडेक्स भी बहुत होगा नहीं मालूम, इंडेक्स भी पढ़ लेंगे तो आपको आइडिया हो सकता है इसके अंदर क्या होगा क्या नहीं होगा. हम नहीं जानते थे कि भारत के लोग इतने कमजोर हैं, वो अपना इतना सा काम भी नहीं कर सकते कि हम पढ़ लें इस चीज़ को. एक समय था लोग पढ़ा करते थे, किताबें सब कुछ पढ़ा करते थे, उस टाइम बहुत नॉलेज होती थी लोगों को, युवाओं को. लेकिन आज का बच्चा तो पढ़ना भी नहीं चाहता, खाली वीडियो देखना चाहता है कान पे लगा के, और गाने सुनना चाहता है, या फिल्मी डायलॉग सुनना चाहता है, या जोक सुनना चाहता है. आज का युवा नहीं चाहता, आदत नहीं है लोगों को, कल्चर हो गया कि हम किताब पढ़ें या कुछ और पढ़ें, कुछ और बात करें, बस वीडियो मेल और इसी में लगे रहते हैं. इसलिए ये नहीं देख पाते कि हमारा क्या होना चाहिए क्या होना नहीं चाहिए. उनकी मजबूरी होती है कि एग्जाम के सब्जेक्ट पढ़ें तो वो भी ना पढ़ें. अफसोस होता है, कहने को हम बहुत मार्क्स लाते हैं, लेकिन मार्क्स का कोई मतलब नहीं है जब आपको अपने देश के बारे में मालूम नहीं है. पहले देश के बारे में मानना बहुत जरूरी होता है. जब तक आप देश के बारे में नहीं मानेंगे तो आपको कोई भी गुमराह करे, और लोग करते हैं, राजनीतिक वाले आपको गुमराह करते हैं. दूसरे लोग क्यों होते हैं? क्योंकि उनको अपना भविष्य देखना होता है, अपनी गुजारा करना होता है, उनको अपनी गाड़ी चलानी होती है, इसलिए वो ऐसा करते हैं. खैर, मैं ज़्यादा ना बोलते हुए अब बात काम पर आऊँगा. बैक टू वर्क यह है कि पिछली बार मैंने आपको बताया था कि हमारे जो संविधान के अंदर जिम्मेदारियां हैं, उत्तरदायित्व हैं, वो क्या क्या है. रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दैट दिस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन कन्फर्स ऑन वेरियस क्लासेस, वेरियस इंस्टीट्यूशंस ऑफ पार्लियामेंट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज, लोकसभा एंड राज्यसभा responsibilities, and responsibilities of the states and responsibilities of both. This is a list, and that list is called Union list, which I had explained, named in last video, and I have given you complete names of lists in English and Hindi. And now I'll go to responsibility list of states, and that is called state list. List 2 this is, and I will speak about this, what coordinates are there in this. This is state list: public order, but not including use of any naval, military or air force or any other armed force of union or any other force subject to control of union or any contingent or unit thereof in aid of civil power. Then second point is, second entry is police including railway and village police, subject to provisions of entry to a list 1. First I am speaking in English, then I speak in Hindi, because it takes some time to click from this file to that file, because I am reading from the same computer where I am making video. It gives me a little problem to click here and then click there and read, and so I just go through in English first and then I'll go through in Hindi. So first point I have told you, and second is police, including railways and village police, subject to provisions of entry 2A of list 1. Then go to point 3, that is entry 3, officers and servants of high courts, procedure on rent, procedure and rent and revenue courts fees taken in all courts except Supreme Court. I read it again. Officers and servants of high court, procedure in rent and revenue courts fees taken in all courts except the Supreme Court. Fourth, prisons, reformatories, postal institutions, and other institutions of a like nature and persons detained therein, arrangements with other states for the use of prisons and other institutions. Prisons, reformatories, postal institutions, and other institutions of a like nature and persons detained therein, arrangements with other states and use of prisons and other institutions. Fifth, local government, that is to say, constitution and powers of municipal corporations, improvements, the trust, district boards, mining settlement authorities, and other local authorities for purpose of local self-government or village administration. Sixth, public health and sanitation, hospitals and dispensaries. Seventh, pilgrimage, pilgrimages other than pilgrimages to places outside India. Eighth, intoxicating liquor, that is to say, production, manufacture, possession, transport, purchase, and sale of intoxicating liquors. Ninth is relief of disabled and unemployable. Tenth is burial and burial grounds, cremations and cremation grounds. So we have got 10 points. Now come to 12 point. 11 is not there. Libraries, museums, and other similar institutions controlled or financed by state, ancient and historical monuments and records other than those declared by or under law made by Parliament to be of national. 13. Communications, that is to say, roads, bridges, ferries, and other means of communication not specified in List 1, municipal tramways, ropeways, inland waterways, and traffic thereon subject to provisions of List 1 and List 3. With regard to such waterways, vehicles other than mechanically propelled vehicles. 14. Agriculture, including agricultural education and research, protection against pests and prevention of plant diseases. 15. Preservation, protection and improvement of stock and prevention of animal diseases, veterinary training and practices. 16. Ponds and prevention of cattle trespass. 17. Water, that is to say, water suppliers. Irrigation and canals, drainage and embankments, water storage and water power subject to provisions of entry 56 of List 1. 18. Land, that is to say, rights in or our land tenures including relation of landlord and tenant, and collection of rents, transfer and alienation of agricultural land, agricultural loans, colonizing. 21. Fisheries. 22. Courts of wars subject to provisions of entry 34 of List 1, encumbered and attached estates. 23. Regulation of mines and mineral development subject to provisions of List 1 with respect to regulation and development under control of Union. 24. Industrial subject to provisions of entry 7 and 52 of List 1. 25. Gas and gas workers. 26. Trade and Commerce Union remains and commerce within states subject to provisions of entry 33 of list 3. 27. Production, supply and distribution of goods subject to provisions of entry 33 of list 3. Markets and fairs is 28. 30. Money lending and money lending and money lenders, relief of agricultural indebtedness. 31. Inns and innkeepers. 32. Incorporation, regulation and winding up of corporations other than those specified in List 1 and universities, unincorporated trading, literacy, scientific, religion and other societies and associations or cooperative societies. 33. Theatres and dramatic performances. Cinemas are subject to provisions of entry 60 of list 1, sports, entertainments and amusements. 34. Betting and gambling. 35. Works, lands and buildings vested in or are in possession of the state. 37. Elections to legislature of state subject to provisions of any law made by parliament. Okay. 38. Salaries and allowances of members of legislature of state, of speaker and deputy speaker of legislative assembly, and if there is a legislative council of chairman and the deputy chairman thereof. Powers. 39. Powers, privileges and immunities of legislative assembly and of matter and committees thereof, and if there is a legislation. Hmm. Powers, privileges and immunities of legislative assembly and of members and of committees thereof, and if there is a legislative, there is a legislative council of that council and of members and committees thereof. Enforcement of attendance of persons for giving evidence or producing documents before committees of legislature of state. Salaries. 40. Salaries and allowances of ministers for union for state. 41. State public services, state public service commission. 42. State pensions, that is to say pensions payable by state or out of consolidated fund of state consolidated fund. Public. 43. Public debt to of department union. Okay. Public debt of state. 44. Treasury trove. 45th is land revenue, including assessment and collection of revenue, maintenance of land records, survey for revenue purposes, and records of rights and alienation of revenues. 46. Taxes on agricultural income. 47. Duties in respect of succession to agricultural land. 48. Estate duty in respect of agricultural land. 49. Taxes on lands and buildings. 50. Taxes on mineral rights subject to any limitation imposed by Parliament by taxes on mineral rights subject to any limitations imposed by Parliament by law relating to mineral development. This is Article 50. This is 50 and 50 and 51. Duties of excise on following goods manufactured or produced in state and countervailing duties at same of lowest rates or similar. 51. Duties of excise and following goods manufactured or produced in state and countervailing duties at same or lower rates on similar goods manufactured or produced elsewhere in hands. Again, duties of excise on following goods manufactured or produced as on state and countervailing duties at same or lowest rate on similar goods manufactured or produced elsewhere in India, alcoholic liquors for human consumption, opium, Indian hemp, and other narcotic drugs and narcotics, but not including medicinal and toilet preparations containing alcohol or any substance included in subparagraph B of this entry. 52. Taxes on entry of goods into local area for consumption, use, or site therein. 53. Taxes on consumption or sale of electricity. 54. Taxes on sale of purchase of goods other than newspaper subject to provisions of entry 92A of list 1. Taxes on advertisements other than advertisements published in newspapers and advertisements broadcast by radio or television. 56. Taxes on goods and passengers carried by road or on inland waterways. 57. Taxes on vehicles, whether mechanically propelled or not, suitable for use on roads, loads, including tram cars, subject to provisions of entry 70, 35 of list 3. 58. Taxes on animals and boats. 59. Tolls. 60. Taxes on professions, trade, calling, and employment. 6. Capitation taxes. Okay. Capitation taxes 61. Then before 60, taxes on professions, trade, callings, and employment. Capitation taxes 61. 62 is taxes on luxuries, including taxes on entertainments, amusements, betting, and gambling. And 63, rates of stamp duty in respect of documents other than those specified in provisions of list 1 with regard to rates of stamp duty. Then it is 64, offences against laws with respect to any of matters in this list. 65, jurisdiction and powers of all courts except Supreme Court with respect to any of matters in this list. 66, fees in respect of any of matters in this list, but not including fee token in any amount. Okay. Fees in respect of any of matters in this list, but not including fees taken into any account. So this is state list, and we will now go to Hindi. Talk of this. सूत्र सूची 2, राज्य सूची पढ़ा करूंगा इसको। राज्य सूची एक लोक व्यवस्था, किंतु इसके अंतर्गत सिविल शक्ति की सहायता के नौसेना, सेना या वायुसेना का, संघ के किसी अन्य सशस्त्र बल का या संघ के अधीन किसी अन्य बल का या उसकी किसी टुकड़ी या यूनिट का प्रयोग है। सूची 1 के प्रविष्ट 2 क के उपबंधों के अधीन रहते हुए जिसके राष्ट्रपति रहना अकेले। सूची 1 के प्राइवेट नौसेना में द्वारा होता हूँ, कुछ कहता हो गया मुख्य व्यवस्था, किंतु उसके अंतर्गत सिविल शक्ति की सहायता के नौसेना सेना या वायुसेना या संघ के किसी अन्य सशस्त्र बल का या संघ के अधीन किसी अन्य बल का या उसके किसी टुकड़ी या यूनिट का प्रयोग है। सूची एक सूची एक की प्रविष्टि 2 के बंधों के अधीन रहते हुए जिसके अंतर्गत रेल और ग्राम पुलिस है। 3 उच्च न्यायालय के अधिकारियों और सेवक फाटक और राजस्व न्याय न्यायालयों की प्रक्रिया और उच्चतम न्यायालय से भिन्न सभी न्यायालयों में ली जाने वाली फीस। को 4 कारागार, सुधारालय, बोस्टल संस्थाएं और उसी प्रकार की अन्य संस्थाएं और उनमें निरुद्ध दरिया व्यक्ति लाश कारागार, सुधारालय, बोस्टल संस्थाएं और उसी प्रकार की अन्य संस्थाएं और उनमें निरुद्ध व्यक्ति कारागारों और अन्य संस्थाओं के उपयोग के लिए अन्य राज्यों से ठहराव। 5 स्थानीय शासन अर्थात नगर निगमों, सुधार न्यासों, जिला बोर्डों, खनन बस्ती प्राधिकारियों और स्थानीय संस्थानों स्थानीय स्वशासन या ग्राम प्रशासन के प्रयोजनों के लिए अन्य स्थानीय प्राधिकारियों का गठन और शक्ति। छठा है लोक स्वास्थ्य और स्वच्छता, अस्पताल और औषधालय। 7वां भारत से बाहर के स्थानों की तीर्थ यात्रा से भिन्न तीर्थ यात्राएं। 8वां मादक लिकर अर्थात मादक लिकर का उत्पादन, विनिर्माण, कब्जा, परिवहन, क्रय और विक्रय। 9वां निषिक्त और नियोजन के लिए अयोग्य व्यक्तियों की सहायता। 10वां शव गाड़ना और कब्रिस्तान, शवदाह और शमशान। Okay, let's continue. But these 35 pages, now let's continue this one. Okay, छठा लोक स्वास्थ्य और स्वच्छता, अस्पताल और औषधालय। 7वां भारत के बाहर के स्थानों को तीर्थयात्रियों से भिन्न तीर्थ यात्राएं। 8वां मादक लिकर अर्थात मादक लिकर का उत्पादन, विनिर्माण, कब्जा, परिवहन, क्रय और विक्रय। 9वां निषिक्त और नियोजन के लिए अयोग्य व्यक्तियों की सहायता। 10वां शव गाड़ना और कब्रिस्तान, शवदाह और शमशान। 12वां राज्य द्वारा नियंत्रित और वित्त पोषित पुस्तकालय, संग्रहालय या वैसी ही अन्य संस्थाएं संसद द्वारा बनाई गई विधि द्वारा या उसके अधीन राष्ट्रीय महत्व के घोषण किए जाने राष्ट्रीय महत्व के घोषित किए गए द्वारा पढ़िए राज्य द्वारा नियंत्रित या वित्त पोषित पुस्तकालय, संग्रहालय या वैसी ही अन्य संस्थाएं संसद द्वारा बनाई गई विधि द्वारा या उसके अधीन राष्ट्रीय महत्व के घोषित किए गए प्राचीन और ऐतिहासिक संस्मारकों और अभिलेखों में विभिन्न प्राचीन और ऐतिहासिक संस्मारक और अभिलेख। 13वां संचार अर्थात सड़कें, पुल, फेरी और अन्य संचार साधन जो सूची 1 में विनिर्देशित नहीं है। नगर पालिका, ट्राम, रज्जू मार्ग और अंतर्देशीय जलमार्गों के संबंध में सूची 3 के उपबंधों के अधीन रहते हुए अंतर्देशीय जलमार्ग और उन यातायात यंत्र नियोजित खानों से कृषि कृषि इसके अंतर्गत कहाँ गया यार? हाँ ये है ना, अंतर्देशीय जलमार्ग और उन पर यातायात यंत्र नोदित यानों से भिन्न स्थान द्वारा प्रत्याश को। 13वां, संचार अर्थात सड़कें, पुल, फेरी और अन्य समाचार साधन जो सूची 1 में विनिर्देशित नहीं है। नगर पालिका ट्राम महत्वपूर्ण राजमार्ग अंतर्देशीय जलमार्गों के नगर पालिका ट्राम रज्जुमार्ग अंतर्देशीय जलमार्गों के संबंध में सूची 1 और सूची 3 के उपबंधों के अधीन रहते हुए अंतर्देशीय जलमार्ग और उन पर यातायात यंत्र नोदित यानी से भिन्न। 14, कृषि जिसके अंतर्गत कृषि शिक्षा और अनुसंधान नाशक जीवों से संरक्षण और पादप रोगों का निवारण है। 15वां, पशुधन का परीक्षण, संरक्षण और सुधार तथा जीव जंतुओं के रोगों का निवारण, पशु चिकित्सा प्रशिक्षण और व्यवसाय। 16वां, कांजी हाउस और पशु अत्याचार पर का निर्वहन। 17वां, सूची 1 की प्रविष्टि 56 के उपबंधों के अधीन रहते हुए जल अर्थात जल प्रदाय, सिंचाई और नहरें, जल विकास और तटबंध, जल भंडारण और जल शक्ति। 18वां, भूमि अर्थात भूमि में या उस पर अधिकार, भू धृति जिसके अंतर्गत भूस्वामी और अधिभारी का संबंध है, और भाटक का संग्रहण, कृषि भूमि का अंतरण और दोबारा पढ़ता हूँ। 17वां, सूची 1 की हिंदी में जरा मुश्किल हो रहा है पढ़ना। सूची 1 की प्रविष्टि 56 के उपबंधों के अधीन रहते हुए जल अर्थात जल प्रदाय, सिंचाई और नहरें, जल निकास और प्रबंधन, जल भंडारण और जल शक्ति। 18वां, भूमि अर्थात भूमि में या उस पर अधिकार, भूधृति जिसके अंतर्गत भूस्वामी और अधिकारी का संबंध है, और भाटक का संग्रह, कृषि भूमि का अंतरण और अन्य संक्रमण, भूमि विकास और कृषि उदार उपनिवेशन। मत्स्य की 22 सूची 1 की प्रविष्टि 34 के उपबंधों के अधीन रहते हुए प्रतिपाल्य अधिकरण, विलंब गति और तुर्क की गई संपदा। 23, संघ के नियंत्रण के अधीन विनियमन और विकास के संबंध में सूची 1 के उपबंधों के अधीन रहते हुए खानों का विनियमन और खनिज विकास। सूची 1 की प्रविष्टि 7 और प्राइवेट प्रादेशिक 8, खनिज आगे चलते हैं, झटका आता है। 24, एक मिनट हाँ। सूची 1 के प्रविष्टि 7 और प्रविष्टि 52 के उपबंधों के अधीन रहते हुए उद्योग। 25वां, गैस और गैस संकट 26 सूची 3 की प्रविष्टि 33 के उपबंधों के अधीन रहते हुए राज्य के भीतर व्यापार और वाणिज्य। 27 सूची 3 की प्रविष्टि 33 के उपबंधों के अधीन रहते हुए मानव का। सूची 3 की प्रविष्टि 33 के संबंध उपबंधों के अर्थात रहते हुए माल का उत्पादन और प्रदाय और वितरण। 28 बाजार और मेले। 30 साहूकारी और साहूकार कृषि ऋणता से मुक्त। 31 पाठशाला और पाठशाला पाल। 31 ऐसे निगमों का जो सूची 1 में विनिर्दिष्ट निगमों से भिन्न है और विश्वविद्यालयों का निगमन, विनियमन और परिसमापन अनिगमित व्यापारिक यार क्या दोबारा पढ़े थे सर? यस। 28 बाजार और मेले। 30 साहूकारी और साहूकार कृषि ऋणता से मुक्ति। 31 पाठशाला और पांतशाला पाल। 32 ऐसे निगमों का जो सूची 1 में विनिर्दिष्ट निगमों से भिन्न है और विश्वविद्यालयों का निगमन, विनियमन और परिसीमापन अनिगमित व्यापारिक ऐसे निगमों का जो सूची 1 में विनिर्दिष्ट निगमों से भिन्न है और विश्वविद्यालयों और निगमन, विनियमन और परिसमापन अनिगमित व्यापारिक, साहित्यिक, वैज्ञानिक, धार्मिक और अन्य सोसाइटियां और संगम सहकारी सोसाइटियां। 33 नाट्यशाला और नाट्य प्रदर्शन। सूची 1 की प्रविष्टि 60 के उपबंधों के अधीन रहते हुए सिनेमा, खेलकूद, मनोरंजन और आमोद। दांव और छूट। 34 दांव और झूठ है। 35 राज्य में निहित या उसके कब्जे के संकरण, भूमि और भवन। 37 संसद द्वारा बनाई गई किसी विधि के उपबंधों के अधीन रहते हुए राज्य के विधानमंडल के लिए निर्वाचन। राज्य के विधानमंडल के सदस्यों के विधानसभा के अध्यक्ष और उपाध्यक्ष के और यदि विधान परिषद है तो उसके सभापति और उसके उपसभापति को वेतन और भत्ते। 39 विधानसभा की और उसके सदस्यों और समितियों की तथा वह विधान परिषद है तो इस विधायक परिषद की और उसके सदस्यों और समितियों की बैरिंगटन सदस्यों की दोबारा पढ़ता हूँ। राज्य के विधानमंडल के सदस्यों के, विधानसभा के अध्यक्ष और उपाध्यक्ष के और यदि विधान परिषद है तो उसके सभापति और उपसभापति के वेतन और भत्ते। विधानसभा की और सदस्यों समितियों की तथा यदि विधान परिषद है तो उस विधान परिषद की और उसके सदस्यों और समितियों की शक्तियां, विशेषाधिकार और अनुमतियां। राज्य के विधानमंडल की समस्त समितियों के समक्ष साक्ष्य देने या दस्तावेज पेश करते हैं के लिए वक्ताओं की हाजिरी कराना। 40 राज्य के मंत्रियों के वेतन और भत्ते। 41 राज्य लोक सेवा आयोग। 42 राज्य की पेंशनें अर्थात राज्य द्वारा या राज्य की संचित निधि में से संदेशन प्राप्ति। राज्य की पेंशनें अर्थात राज्य द्वारा या राज्य की संचित निधि में से पेंशन राज्य का लोकप्रिय निखात निधि। 44 निखात निधि पता नहीं क्या। 45 भू राजस्व जिसके अंतर्गत राजस्व का निर्धारण और संग्रह, भू अभिलेख रखना, राजस्व के प्रयोजनों के लिए और अधिकारियों के अभिलेखों के लिए सर्वेक्षण और राजस्व का अन्य संक्रामक है, अंकुशवान है। 46 कृषि आय पर कर। 47 कृषि भूमि के उत्तराधिकारियों के संबंध में शुल्क, कृषि भूमि के संबंध में संपदा शुल्क। 49 भूमि और भवनों पर कर। 50 संसद द्वारा विधि द्वारा खनिज विकास के निगम संबंध में अधिरोपित निर्बंधों के अधीन रहते हुए खनिज संबंधी अधिकारों पर कर। 51 राज्य में विनिर्मित या उत्पादित निम्नलिखित माल पर उत्पाद शुल्क और भारत के अन्यत्र अन्यत्र विनिर्मित या उत्पादित वैसे ही माल पर दूसरी उसी दूर दरिया निमंत्रण दर से प्रतिशुल्क क्या है। मानवीय उपभोग के लिए अल्कोहलिक ड्रिंक अफीम, इंडियन हेम्प और अन्य स्वापक औषधियों तथा स्वापक पदार्थ, किंतु जिसके अंतर्गत ऐसी औषधियां और प्रसाधन निर्मितियां नहीं हैं जिनके अल्कोहल या इस प्रविष्टि के ऊपर पैरा है का कोई पदार्थ अंतिविष्टि है। बावन, किसी स्थानीय क्षेत्र में उपभोग, प्रयोग या विक्रय के लिए माल के प्रवेश का कार्य है। 53, विद्युत के उपभोग या विक्रय पर कर। 54, सूची 1 के प्रविष्टि 52-92 के उपबंधों के अधीन रहते हुए समाचार पत्रों में सूची 1 के प्रविष्टि 52 के उपबंधों के अधीन रहते हुए समाचारों प्रकाशित। सूची 1 की प्रविष्टि 92 के उपबंधों के अधीन रहते हुए समाचार पत्रों से भिन्न माल के क्रय व विक्रय पर कर। समाचार पत्रों में प्रकाशित और रेडियो या दूरदर्शन द्वारा प्रसारित विज्ञापनों से भिन्न विज्ञापनों पर कर। 56, सड़कों या अंतर्देशीय जलमार्गों द्वारा ले जाए जाने वाले माल और यात्रियों पर कर। 57, सूची 3 की प्रविष्टि 35 के उपबंधों के अधीन रहते हुए सड़कों पर उपयोग के योग्य यानों पर कर, चाहे वे यंत्र नोटिस हो या नहीं, जिनके अंतर्गत ट्रामकार है। 58, जीव जंतुओं और नौकाओं पर कर। 59, पंथ कर। 60, वृत्तियों, व्यापारों, आजीविकाओं और नियोजनों पर कर। 61, प्रति व्यक्ति कर। 62, विलास वस्तु पर कर, जिसके अंतर्गत मनोरंजन, आमोद, दाव और छूट पर कर है। 63, स्टाम्प शुल्क की दरों के संबंध में सूची 1 के उपबंधों में विनिर्देशित दस्तावेजों से भिन्न दस्तावेजों के संबंध में स्टाम्प शुल्क की कर। 64, इस सूची के विषयों में से किसी विषय पर विशेष संबंधित विधियों के विरुद्ध अपराध। 65, उच्चतम न्यायालय से भिन्न सभी न्यायालयों की इस सूची के मेरे है क्या कर रहे हैं। उच्चतम 65, उच्चतम न्यायालय से भिन्न सभी न्यायालयों की इस सूची के विषय में से किसी विषय के संबंध में आधिकारिकता और शक्तियां। 66, इस सूची के विषयों में से किसी विषय के संबंध में फीस, किंतु इसके अंतर्गत किसी न्यायालय से दी जाने वाली फीस नहीं है। ये था आपका स्टेट लिस्ट. This was your state list explained in Hindi and English both. And I'll jump to now concurrent list because I want to finish this list today. Concurrent list. Yes, list 3 is so list 1 is union list, list 2 is state list, and list 3 is concurrent list. Concurrent list. कितना है इसमें concurrent list? It is points काफी है इसमें. this list 47 points. 47 points are there. Okay, we'll start all the list. 1. Criminal law, including all matters included in Indian Penal Code at commencement of this Constitution, but excluding offences against laws with respect to any of matters specified in List 1 or List 2, and excluding use of naval, military, or air force or any other armed forces of Union in aid of civil power. B. Criminal procedure, including all matters included in Code of Criminal Procedure at commencement of this Constitution. Preventive, thus two, preventive prevention for एकदम झटका आता है ना. Criminal procedure, including all matters included in Code of Criminal Procedure at the commencement of this Constitution. 3 is preventive detention for reasons connected with security of state, maintenance of public order, or maintenance of supplies and services essential. 2. Be commonly preventive detention for reasons connected with security of state, maintenance of public order, or maintenance of supplies and services essential for to community persons subject to such detention. 4th is removal from one state to another state for prisoners, accused persons, and persons subjected to prevention of detention for reasons specified in NDA of 3. 5th, marriage and divorce. Marriage and divorce. The procedure is going on. Yes, it's going on. Right, it's going on. Marriage and divorce, infants and minors, adoption, wills, intestacy and succession, joint family and partitions, all matters in respect of which parties in judicial proceedings were immediately in before commencement of this Constitution, subject to their personal law. 6th, transfer of property other than agricultural land, registration of deeds and documents. 7th, contracts including partnership, agency, contracts of carriage, and other special forms of contracts, but not including contracts relating to agricultural land. 8, actionable wrongs. B, bankruptcy and insolvency. 8 and 9. 10 is trust and trustees. 11 is administrators, general and official trustees. 11 is administration of justice, constitution and organization of all courts except the Supreme Court and High Courts. 12, evidence and courts. Recognition of laws is public acts and records and judicial proceedings. 13, civil procedure, including all matters included on Code of Civil Procedure thereof. Civil procedures, including all matters included in Code of Civil Procedure at commencement of this Constitution, limitations and arbitration. 14, contempt of court but not including contempt of Supreme Court. 15, vagrancy, nomadic and migration tribes. Okay. Contempt of court but not including contempt of Supreme Court. 15, vagrancy, nomadic and migratory tribes. 16, lunacy and mental deficiency, including places for reception or treatment of lunatics and mentally disorder. 17, prevention of cruelty to animal. 17A, forest. 17B, protection of wild animals and birds. 17B, uh, arrangement. 17 reproduction of wild animals and birds. 18 adulteration of foodstuff and other goods. 19 drugs and poisons subject to provisions of entry 59 of list 1 with respect to opium. 20 economic and social planning. 20 population control and family planning. 21 commercial and industrial monopolies, combines and trusts. 22 trade unions, industrial and labor disputes. 23 social security and social insurance, employment and unemployment. 24 welfare of labor, including conditions of work, provident funds, employees. 23 social security and social insurance, employment and unemployment. 24 welfare of labor, including conditions of work, provident funds, employers' liability, workmen's compensation, invalidity and old age pension, and maternity benefits. 25th education, including technical education, medical education, and universities. Education, including technical education, medical education, and universities, subject to provisions of entry 63, 64, 65, and 66 of list 1. Vocational and technical training of the labor. Hmm. 26 legal, medical, and other professions. Let us look at 26 again because legal, medical, and other professions. So 27, relief and rehabilitation of persons displaced from their original place of residence by creation of setting up of dominion of India and Pakistan. Resource relief and rehabilitation person. So 28. Let us see how the video is working. Let me see. It's working. Yeah, it's moving. It's working. Okay. 57, 41. Yes. So let's go further. 28 charities and charitable institutions, charitable and religious endowments and religious institutions. 29 prevention of extension from one state to another of infectious or contagious diseases or pests affecting man, animal, or plants. 30 vital statistics including a registration of births and deaths. 31 courts other than those declared by or under law made by parliament or ex, excluding or existing law to be major courts. Okay, once again, 31 courts other than those declared by or under law made by parliament or existing law to be major courts. 32 shipping and navigation or shipping and navigation on inland waters as regards mechanically propelled vessels and rule of road on such waterways and carriage of passengers and goods on inland waterways subject to provisions of list 1 with respect to national waterways. 33 trade and commerce in and production, supply and distributions of a products of any industry where control of such industry by union is declared by parliament by law to be expedient in the following in public interest and important goods are uh, once again, production of industry where control of such industry by union and is declared by parliament by law to be expedient in public interest and imported goods of same kind as such products. B. Foodstuff including edible oil seeds and oils. C. Cattle fodder including oil cakes and other concentration foodstuffs including edible oil seeds and oils. C. Cattle fodder including oil cakes and other concentrates. That's right. Cattle fodder including oil cakes and other concentrates. D. Raw cotton, whether ginned or unginned, and cotton seed, and E. Raw jute. 33A. Weights and measure except establishment of standards. 34. Price control. 35. Mechanically propelled vehicle including principles on which taxes on such vehicles are to be levied. 36. Factories. 37. Boilers. 38. Electricity. 39. Newspapers, books and printing presses. 40. Archaeological sites and remains other than those archaeological sites and remains other than those declared by under law made by Parliament to be of national importance. And 41. Custody, management and disposal of property including agricultural land declared by law to be evacuee property. Acquisition and requisitions of property. 43. Recovery in state of claims in respect of taxes and other public demands, including arrears of land revenue and sums recoverable as such arrears arising out of our state. Stamp duties other than duties or fees collected by means of judicial stamps but not including rates of item. Okay. Stamp duties other than duties of fees elected by means of judicial stamps but not include rate of stamp duty. Inquiries. 45. Inquiries and statistics for purposes of any of matters specified in list 1, list 2 and list 3. 46. Jurisdiction and powers of all courts except Supreme Court with respect to any of matters in this right. Okay, gradually. 46. I'm going to 45 around there. Inquiries and statistics for purposes of any of matters specified in list 2 and list 3. 46. Jurisdiction and powers of all courts except Supreme Court with respect to any of numbers in this list. Fees. 47. Fees in respect of any of matters in this list but not including jurisdiction and power of all courts except Supreme Court with respect to any of matters in this list. 47. Fees in respect of any of matters in this list but not including fees taken in any court. So this is end of concurrent list, and now I'll go to Hindi speech of this, Hindi translation. सूची 3 समवर्ती सूची 1. दंड विधि जिसके अंतर्गत ऐसे सभी विषय हैं जो इस संविधान के प्रारंभ में भारतीय दंड संहिता के अंतर्गत आते हैं किंतु इसके अंतर्गत सूची 1 या सूची 2 में विनिर्देशित विषयों में से किसी विषय से संबंधित विधियों के विरुद्ध अपराध और सिविल शक्ति की सहायता के लिए नौसेना, सेना या वायुसेना अथवा संघ के किसी अन्य सशस्त्र बल का प्रयोग नहीं है। 2. दंड प्रक्रिया, जिसके अंतर्गत ऐसे सभी विषय हैं जो इस संविधान के प्रारंभ पर दंड प्रक्रिया संहिता के अंतर्गत हैं। 3. किसी राज्य की सुरक्षा, लोक व्यवस्था बनाए रखने या समुदाय के लिए आवश्यक सुविधाओं और सेवाओं को बनाए रखने संबंधी किसी कारणों से निवारक विरोध नहीं होगा। 4. बंदियों, अभियुक्त व्यक्तियों और इस सूची की प्रविष्टि 3 में विनिर्देशित कारणों से निर्दोष दोहरा पढ़ते हैं। बंदियों, अभियुक्तों व्यक्तियों या इन सूचियों को किसी की देखो 4 में क्या है, बंदियों नहीं, 3 में क्या है, किसी राज्य की सुरक्षा, लोक व्यवस्था बनाए रखने या समुदाय के लिए आवश्यक सुविधाओं और सेवाओं को बनाए रखने संबंधी कारणों से निवारक निरोध, इस प्रकार निरोध में रखे गए व्यक्ति। 4. बंदियों, अभियुक्त व्यक्तियों और इस सूची की प्रविष्टि 3 में विनिर्देशित कारणों से निवारक निरोध में रखे गए व्यक्तियों का एक राज्य से दूसरे राज्य को हटाया जाएगा। ओके। 5. विवाह और विवाह विच्छेद, शिशु और अवयस्क दत्तक ग्रहण बिल, निर्वसीयता और उत्तराधिकार, अविभक्त कुटुंब और विभाजन के सभी विषय जिनके संबंध में न्यायिक कार्यवाहियों में पक्षकार इस संविधान के प्रारंभ में ठीक पहले अपनी सभी विधियां नहीं रखते थे। 6. कृषि भूमि से भिन्न संपत्ति का अंतरण, विलेखों और दस्तावेजों का राष्ट्रीयकरण। 7. सुविधाएं जिनके अंतर्गत भागीदारी, अभिकरण, वहन की सुविधाएं और अन्य विशेष प्रकार की सुविधाएं हैं किंतु कृषि भूमि संबंधी सुविधाएं नहीं हैं। 8. अनुयोजित दोष। 9. शोधन अक्षमता और दिवाला। ओके। सुविधाएं जिसके अंतर्गत भागीदारी, अभिकरण, वहन की सुविधाएं और अन्य विशेष प्रकार की सुविधाएं हैं किंतु कृषि भूमि संबंधी सुविधाएं नहीं है। 8वां अनुयोजन दोष। 8वां अनुयोजक दोष। 9वां शोधन अक्षमता और दिवाला। 10वां न्यास और न्यासी। 11वां महाप्रशासक और शासकीय न्यायसी। 11 के न्याय प्रशासन, उच्चतम न्यायालय और उच्च न्यायालयों से भिन्न सभी न्यायालयों का गठन और संगठन। 12वां साक्षी और शपथ विधियों, लोक कार्यों और अभिलेखों और न्यायिक कार्यवाहियों की मान्यता। 13वां सिविल प्रक्रिया जिसके अंतर्गत ऐसे सभी विषय जिस संविधान के प्रारंभ पर सिविल प्रक्रिया सहित संहिता के अंतर्गत आते हैं, परिसीमा और मध्यस्थम। 14वां न्यायालय का अवमान किंतु इसके अंतर्गत उच्चतम न्यायालय का अभिमान नहीं। 15वां आहिंदन भ्रष्टाचार और भ्रष्टाचार से और हम दोबारा सकते 13वां सिविल प्रक्रिया, जिसके अंतर्गत ऐसे सभी विषय हैं जो संविधान के प्रारंभ पर सिविल प्रक्रिया संहिता के अंतर्गत आते हैं। परिसीमा और मध्यस्थम। 14वां न्यायालय का अवमान, किंतु उसके अंतर्गत उच्चतम का अवमान नहीं। 15वां आहिधन या यायावरी और प्रायोजित जनजातियां। 16वां पागलपन और मनोवैकल्प, जिसके अंतर्गत पागलों और मनोवैकल्प वैज्ञानिकों को ग्रहण करने और उनका उपचार करने के संस्थान है। 17वां पशुओं के प्रति क्रूरता का निवारण। 17 है वन्य जीवन जंतुओं और पक्षियों का संरक्षण। 18वां खाद्य पदार्थों और अन्य माल का आपको मिश्रण। 19वां अफीम के संबंध में सूची 1 की प्रविष्टि 59 के उपबंधों के अधीन रहते हुए मादक द्रव्य और विषय 20 आर्थिक एवं सामाजिक याचना याचना। चलो 20 तक हो गया ना। आर्थिक और सामाजिक योजना, इससे पहले 19 हो गया। अफीम के संबंध में सूची 1 की प्रविष्टि 59 के उपबंधों के अधीन रहते हुए मादक द्रव्य विषय और 20 आर्थिक और सामाजिक योजना। 20 का जनसंख्या नियंत्रण और परिवार नियोजन। 21 है वाणिज्यिक और औद्योगिक अधिकार और न्यास। 22 व्यापार संघ, औद्योगिक और श्रम विवाद। 23 सामाजिक सुरक्षा और सामाजिक बीमा नियोजन और बेकारी। ओके 20 हो गया ना वाणिज्य। अब चलते हैं तो आगे। अब एक पर वीडियो चेक कर लेंगे, एक प्रॉब्लम ना कर लेना, रुक जाता है बीच में। ये तो कई सब यार। जनसंख्या नियंत्रण परिवार नियोजन। 21 वाणिज्य और औद्योगिक अधिकार गुट और न्यास। 22 व्यापार संघ, औद्योगिक और श्रम विवाद। 23 सामाजिक सुरक्षा और सामाजिक बीमा नियोजन और बेकारी। 24 श्रमिकों का कल्याण, जिसके अंतर्गत कार्य की दशाएं, भविष्य निधि, नियोजक का दायित्व और कर्मकार प्रतिकर अशक्तता और वार्धक्य पेंशन और वार्धक्य या पेंशन तथा प्रसूति सुविधाएं। 25वां सूची 1 प्रविष्टि 63, 64, 65, 66 के उपबंधों के अधीन रहते हुए शिक्षा, जिसके अंतर्गत तकनीकी शिक्षा, आयुर्विज्ञान शिक्षा और विश्वविद्यालय है। श्रमिकों का व्यावसायिक और तकनीकी प्रशिक्षण। 26 विधि वृत्ति, चिकित्सा वृत्ति और अन्य वृत्तियां। 27 भारत और पाकिस्तान डोमिनियन के स्थापित होने के कारण अपने मूल निवास स्थान से विस्थापित व्यक्तियों की सहायता और पुनर्वास। 28वां पूर्व कार्य और पूर्व संस्थाएं, पूर्व और धार्मिक विन्यास और धार्मिक संस्थाएं। 28 पूर्व कार्य और पूर्व संस्थाएं, पूर्व और धार्मिक विनाश और धार्मिक संस्थाएं। 29 मानवों, जीव जंतुओं और पौधों पर प्रभाव डालने वाले संक्रामक या सांस गृह रोग अथवा नाशक जीवों के एक राज्य से दूसरे राज्य में फैलने का निवारण। 30 जन्म मरण सांख्यिकी, जिसके अंतर्गत जन्म और मृत्यु रजिस्ट्रेशन है। 31 संसद द्वारा बनाई गई विधि या विद्यमान विधि द्वारा या उसके अधीन महापतन वार्षिक पत्तों से निर्भय है। भिन्न पतन। राष्ट्रीय जलमार्ग के संबंध में सूची 1 के उपबंधों के रहते हुए राष्ट्रीय जलमार्ग के संबंध में सूची 1 के उपबंधों के अधीन रहते हुए अंतर्देशीय जलमार्गों पर यंत्र नोदित जलयानों के संबंध में पोत परिवहन और नौ परिवहन तथा ऐसे जलमार्गों पर मार्ग का नियम और अंतर्देशीय जलमार्गों द्वारा यात्री और माल का वहन। 33 कै जहां संसद द्वारा विधि द्वारा किसी उद्योग का संघ द्वारा नियंत्रित लोक हित में समीचीन घोषित किया जाता है, वहां उस उद्योग के उत्पादों का और उसी प्रकार के आयात किए गए माल का ऐसे उत्पादों के रूप में है। खाद्य पदार्थों का, जिसके अंतर्गत खाद्य तिलहन और तेल है। यह पशुओं के चारे का, जिसके अंतर्गत खली और अन्य सारकृत चारे हैं। यह कच्ची कपास का, चाहे वह ओटी हुई, मोटी हुई या बिना मोटी हो बिना बिखरने के। तो खाद्य पदार्थों को कहा देते समय कहा गया ना, ये कच्ची कपास का, चाहे वो ओटी हुई हो या बिना ओटी हो, और गिनोले का हो। कच्चे जूट का व्यापार और वाणिज्य तथा उनका उत्पादन, पदाय या वितरण एक्सचेंज है। कच्चे जूट का व्यापार और वाणिज्य तथा उसका उत्पादन, अध्याय और वितरण। 33 के वाट और माप जिनके अंतर्गत मानकों का नियंत्रण किया जाता है। 34 कीमत नियंत्रण। 35 यंत्र नोदित यान जिसके अंतर्गत में सिद्धांत है, व्यवहार है। इसके 35 यंत्र नोदित यान जिसके अंतर्गत यह सिद्धांत है जिसके अनुसार ऐसे यानों पर उद्ग्रहित किया जाना है। 36 कारखाने। 37 बायलर। 37 बायलर। 28 विद्युत। 39 समाचार पत्र, पुस्तक और मुद्रालय। 40 संसद द्वारा बनाई गई विधि द्वारा या उसके अधीन राष्ट्रीय महत्व के घोषित पुरातत्व स्थल और अवशेषों से भिन्न पुरातत्वीय स्थल और अवशेष। 41 ऐसी संपत्ति की जिसके अंतर्गत कृषि भूमि है, अभिरक्षा, प्रबंध और व्ययन जो विधि द्वारा निश्चित क्रांत संपत्ति घोषित हो चुकी जाए। 42 संपत्ति का अर्जन और अधिग्रहण। 43 किसी राज्य में उस राज्य से बाहर उद्भूत कर से संबंधित दावों और अन्य लोक मांगों की वसूली जिसके अंतर्गत भू राजस्व का बकाया और ऐसे बकाया के रूप में वसूली की जा सकने वाली राशियां हैं। 44 न्याय के स्टाम्पों के द्वारा संग्रहित शुल्कों या फीसों से भिन्न स्टाम्प शुल्क किन्हीं ऐसे अंतर्गत स्टाम्प शुल्क की दरें नहीं है। 45 सूची 2 या सूची 3 में विनिर्देशित विषयों में से किसी विषय के प्रयोजनों के लिए जांच और आकलने हैं। 46 उच्चतम न्यायालय से भिन्न सभी न्यायालयों की सूची के विषयों में से किसी विषय के संबंध में आधिकारिकता और शक्तियां। 47 इस सूची के विषयों में से किसी विषय के संबंध में फीस किंतु इसके अंतर्गत किसी न्यायालय में दी जाने वाली फीस नहीं है। So we have talked of all cases. So gentlemen, we have covered these 3 lists which are very significant from our understanding point of view, because if you don't understand this list, state list, union list and concurrent list means what I'm saying is union list is the responsibility of government of this country, Bharat government, Bharat Sarkar, and state list is the responsibility of state government, as a concurrent list is the responsibility of both. If central takes some actions, then no need of state, and if state takes that is agreed, both concurrent list gives entries which are responsibility for both. Means once again I repeat, union list, state list, and concurrently union list means the central government is responsible to legislate related to those issues. For state list, state is responsible, and for concurrent both are responsible. We have to understand this very important factor from point of view of election of MP, election of MLAs. If you don't understand this factor of representatives who are going to be elected as MPs, if they don't understand this, we don't know what shall they, what they just sit and listen to others, and that's not required at all. They have to be active, proactive, and for national interest, they should work for us. And MP, MLA, they must be qualified enough. You cannot say there's no mention there's no mention or there's no description of qualification or criteria eligibility. You have to understand that even if they are not, it's not mentioned, it doesn't mean that you cannot elect qualified people. The provision in the Constitution says person should be educated. If this list you go through, you will list state list already, you will understand that there is a responsibility, this is a kind of responsibility for every MP, for every MLA, and for every other people at down levels, local governments, that they have to understand what they have to do. And only a person who's qualified, educated, I don't say language qualification or something, it's question of understanding, development of mind, that you have the complete information with you, what you have to do. Means there should be some level of qualification that you should be elected with. Otherwise, don't say you cannot elect a blind person, you cannot elect a person who knows nothing about anything. That person should be well educated, means a person must have adequate qualification, so that one can understand what type of bills are coming and what type of private bills can be proposed. Because MP has full right to propose private bill, and you can propose private bill only when you know constitution, you know about what's happening in this country, what the authorities of MP, and what you can do in the interest of nation, society, and the constituency. That is very important. If you say no, I don't know this, and there's no need of qualification, then you are at wrong path. You should understand that. Persons who are educated, who know about constitution, they should be elected as MP irrespective to which party they belong, or if they are independent. I don't care for them person go to Lok Sabha, but as far as person is educated enough, is qualified enough, intelligent enough, and dedicated and committed enough, one should go. It doesn't matter private candidate, independent candidate, party candidate, whosoever it is. It doesn't matter for me as a citizen of India. Why should I worry what party that candidate is belong, or what party that candidate is not belonging to, or is citizen, ordinary citizen, and having ordinary stay in this country means ordinary person, not rich, not even. We don't need rich people. We need those people who can work for us. I don't care who become prime minister, who shall become prime minister based on those. I don't care, because prime minister is something else. Prime minister is not an independent person. Prime minister depends upon Lok Sabha. Prime minister depends upon other ministers. Prime minister only located head of council ministers. He is one of ministers. He is not head of government. He is not executive head of government. He is only practical head. Executive head means president is executive head. So we have to understand differences. And once you understand differences, we can say this person is good for me. This person can represent me. This person can act as an attorney for my constituency, and I have to elect that one. I don't care. I know that candidate don't know, but once I came to know about his CV, I can elect that person to a subject to a condition that person should be honest, person they have a clear record, clean record, no FIR, nothing against him, and dedicated to work for our constituency and reports to us and take our information problems to take them to Lok Sabha for purpose of raising parliament questions. That type of people we want. Why should we say I want Modi people? I want both hell, go to hell. I don't need people. I don't need any party. I want my country to be led by citizens of this country, ordinary residents like you and others who are educated, who are still looking for a job. Why don't you go to Lok Sabha and work there? This is your job, this is your duty, your responsibility. Why you depend upon these bloody fool leaders who do nothing, just loot this country? We don't want this country to be looted by these rascals. They are all rascals. One is small rascal, some other is bigger rascal. They are looting this country, they are looting votes, they are losing they are lying. They are even lying for false informations in these speeches, and then they say Shumlas. I don't need these people. They are enemies to me. They are enemies to all those voters who voted to them for certain reason, for certain requirements, certain expectations, and they say, hey, I didn't say that. It is just Shumla. We didn't say that. Means this is complete cheating, fraud on nation, on voters, and all that. Again and again, I'm saying, I'm stressing, I'm claiming you have to be smart enough. Just open your eyes, open your mind, come out of your dream and see what's happening in this country. This country is now dying. This country is now being deteriorated by these robbers. This country's economy is down, employment is down, everything is down, power is down, people are not getting jobs, more than half of engineers are not getting jobs. Engineers are coming out of university and college and they are not suitable for jobs, they are not getting jobs. Whatever jobs are there, they learned in college and university are not suitable in the industry, and that is really very setback to this country, that our engineers are not employable. If our engineers are not employable, engineers first requirement of a nation. If a nation develops it because of engineer, it's not because of IAS, or it's not because of leaders, or it's not because of something else. Only engineers can develop this country, and that is particularly civil engineers first of all. I'm just saying, if your country is not getting developed because of engineers, there is no one in central who can look after engineers. I just got one parliament question in one debate regarding this Tharoor, who said more than 50% engineers are unemployed. Yeah, that's a fact. That is a fact, and that's reply from minister was useless reply, baseless reply. He just raised question about revision of updated revision of syllabus to updated standard, and this we are doing this and we are doing this and we are all complete fake reply, useless reply. All India Council of Technical is a stupid council. There is no professional engineer in that. There are no engineers of practical. You go and say quality everywhere, particular civil engineering, buildings construction. Go and see what's happening all over this country, except in few cases which are maybe dominated by engineers. But in general, 90% buildings are being constructed in rubbish way, in non-quality way. You go and see anywhere RCC work is going on, will be private. It doesn't matter building a private building, government building is false. It's false. Even the government building say it is not stopped, it is false. Private buildings will false. Or even Northquake is there. There are news every day. The 4-story building in Bombay collapse, 4-story building in Delhi collapse. This happened and that happened. During construction, shuttering open. All that has happened. Why it's happened? Because there are no engineers working on building. No engineers are working. No supervisors are working. Only builder is there and building mason. Experienced mason is a builder. Experienced carpenter is a builder. And a person who is on the ABCD of engineering, he is a builder, a promoter. This is complete nonsense. I don't bother about what legislation says or something, because legislation says only for namesake, and people have to see this practically is happening or not. I have seen in concrete, particularly concrete is body of building, concrete is heart of building, concrete is, you can say, respiration of building, and concrete is everything. Finishing I have no problem because plaster can be redone and paint can be redone, and it is not done. We have to see brick or can be written. Bricks are all rubbish here. You see, there's no first class bricks. All bricks, you go and see their strength, their color, their size, their shape. All bricks are rubbish. No dimension, no statement, no color, no. It's complete waste of money. RCC. RCC reinforcing cement concrete, reinforced cement concrete, which is concrete combination of concrete and steel and water and others. And GBBS, you can say GGBS and PF, etc. Microsilica, etc. is a very expensive item. It costs too much. Steel costs too much. Concrete costs too much. Cement costs too much. GGBS costs too much. PFA costs too much. And water also costs too much. And working on it is costing too much. Curing costs too much. And then result is zero because it's not quality work. People don't even use vibrators in many cases. I've seen. You go and see shuttering, they're just taking fattas, planks, and there's no joints are closed and rubbish. There's even plywood, new plywood. They are using old used plywoods, which have been already used 10 times. Buildings are not given due credit, due attention as required because, and they are losing money because they are spending money but losing money. You are spending money. So what happens? I've seen many cases here and there, and they're building almost even big buildings. Yesterday I was in the Oakland Savary building. There's for 12 meters steel was brought by dollars, and there's a stem that's stamped on road in rain, water. Though they put it in protection on that, they didn't cover that and the side and erect after that. They don't cover. Why this? Why they protect this? They just spend lakhs of rupees on procurement of steel. You cannot spend a few thousands of hundreds of polythene protection. You keep every day closed in the type of something on that, and then you erect the steel on site and you. After at the end of the day, you just cover it with polythene so that it is protected from moisture content or even that comes from the humidity as well as from rain exposure. You cannot do that. Exposure of rain means it gets red color. This means rust and rust. They don't remove it, just in place it, and that's all. So rust goes in concrete, and the bonding between steel reinforcement and concrete is broken, and this means the life of concrete is reduced, and this rust will further rust inside. What purpose you are doing this? Nobody is there asked. Forget what authorities say. They get completion certificate from fire. They get everything from civil defense. They get all certification. Certificate doesn't mean anything here. I'm not concerned with certification. Certificate you get by taking bribe and all that. You take money and give certificate. Architect doesn't go to site and sign this. Maybe engineer takes money and sign this. It happens. Who bothers about safety? Safety of people is more important than certification. If my building falls in half an hour, before half an hour in fire, what purpose it is? If my building cannot register is life eligibility even for 2 hours in fire, what function building is? We have seen buildings are on fire, so college people cannot come out. We cannot provide concrete covers, spaces. We cannot provide a good steel. We cannot provide good shuttering. We cannot provide good compaction of concrete, and we cannot mix concrete. What happened? They can completely mix concrete. Their reading is completely non-professional. They are not well calibrated. They just bring truck mixers and they lay on them. If they are using pumps, very old pumps, reciprocating pumps, these pumps are like that, means stationary pumps. They just put this pipe, that pipe, this pipe, and then there's no control, no slump check on site, no temperature of site, nothing. People don't know what temperature of concrete should be, when temperature should be, in which limit should be, and whether we should use ice or we should or in winter when we should steam or we should not steam. People don't know anything about how we store aggregates and how we store sand, how we store dust, how we store all that. People don't know anything how we store steel, how we store bricks, and how we store all that. People know nothing about that. They just do labors, do whatever they want. What happens? Another because what happened? There's excavate, don't hear about no compaction is outside, no measurements, then just put a fabricated is rusted steel in that and then concrete, just concrete now in a professional way, then the curing or no curing, no it bothers. And then there is walls first and then there is columns after that. Means suppose this side is wall and this side is wall and this side is 4 sides of column and there are only 2 sides they shutter because 2 sides, and if there's a cross wall as well, means only 1 side is shutter. Means either 2 sides or 3 sides are not shuttered. Either 2 sides are not shuttered or 3 sides are not shuttered. That is what we are going on here. How you are doing this? And same thing happening foundation. I've seen they put brickwork around foundation, the 4 sides of foundation, 4 or 3 sides, they put bricks first and then put steel and concrete. What function it is? For what purpose of brick is there? They don't understand. Purpose of brick is first do your foundation, then apply clean that and apply waterproof soil production or whatever you just call it. It is for production of soil, production from soil, and that is applied. After that, for that protection, you put block or brick. They don't understand this. They think they use it as shutters. Former complete nonsense. Purpose was to protect this material membrane from soil impact. because membrane should be protected so that impact of soil cannot penetrate to concrete surface. But they use it for more. You are not sure whether the concrete goes there, and you are not conduct test everywhere, or sonic test you are not conduct. You don't know whether this is homogeneous concrete, not whether the concrete is every corner of that you don't know. Ultrasonic wave don't pass on, they don't pass. What purpose it is? How do you do this? What's the meaning of that? Integrity is not clear. Concrete is integral. Every corner has got this. There's no use at all. They are just spending money. I'm not saying they are saving money. They're spending much more money than expected. They are not able. They don't want engineer to work on that. Because I had disputes with many people who come to me. I ask them do this. They don't do this. Nobody cares about soil investigation. There's no soil investigation at all. They just come say, oh, let it be, no problem. Just little no compaction. No soil information. They don't understand what is the meaning of clay, understand of sand, sandy soil is there, clay soil there. They don't care about that. Means they have to do it, good or bad. And they put this, they don't understand a stiff footing or there's a beam foundation, there could be or some mat foundation, there could be no reason at all. They don't understand anything about where you see the building and building they erect, and people stay. And they spend a lot of money in that. What I am saying is, if you don't understand ourselves, if you don't understand our nation, if you don't quality even our building that are big too, we risk our lives on that. Because building can settle. And some people even put water tanks beside the walls, deeper than foundations. Nobody cares, nobody cares, who cares, nobody cares, nobody cares. All foolish people in this country, sleeping people, they just, if I ask someone, oh, no problem, I'm not going to use this building as right now, so I'll sell it to someone else as my investment. Then second is my investor, I'll sell to someone else. This means everybody is selling to someone else, and one who sells it doesn't care for quality and for safety of building, reliability of building, doesn't care for that. He doesn't care, we don't care about reliability of building. Reliability means building should be safe, building should be serviceable, and building should be durable. These three parameters must be satisfied if you want a good building. Means building should be safe. Safe means it should be safe from fire, it should be safe from seismic action, it should be safe from sun, it should be safe from, you can say, wind, it should be safe from whatever actions are going to come into that portion. Then serviceable, it should serve you. It should serve you for the intended purpose for which it was designed. Then third one is durability. And durability means it should serve you. For example, if suppose you decided this building to work for 100 years or for 50 years or for 75 years or whatever number of years you decided for this has to move to that level, to that durable, to that age without causing any distress, without showing or without displaying any distress on materials or any over stress on materials, or whatever it is, limit state or it is, you can say, ultimate state theory, whatever you design with, it should reach up to that level, and that is the purpose of that. If it cannot do that, means we are just spending money without saving money, we are spending money without getting quality, without raising quality work, without adding any value engineering, without doing something professional work. And we are saying we have constructed a building, we will do very shining, very attractive finishes, plaster. Even plaster, they don't know how to do it. They just do full plaster without any hacking joints. They don't hack joints, just plaster it. Joint surface and brick surface is at the same line, means flush. It should not be flushed. They should rake out joints before plastering. Nobody is doing that. Better if you just after doing breakfast, just put some knife in there or something, some chisel in there to take out the nobody knows. But just put, okay, if you just put it, there's no lat in there. Suppose you are using some matte lat or something, galvanized lat or you can see some other lat, at least it can resist, but they are not doing that as well. They're just putting thappa plaster, and that's I'm of the very finished, good finishes there. Then after they paint it or whatever color they want to do it, and my building is ready, take it. That is quality. This is not professional building, this is not professional quality, this is not quality control, this is not quality assurance, this is not quality requirement, this is not quality system. No engineer, no supervisor, no designer, no one. If designer decided you have design, very good designs, production very good, part meaning of design. Now meaning of design. If you bring bent steel and throw on side, then you strengthen that steel and then you cut, and after that it is rusted and then use in building. Is it good professional work? 12 meters bar of bend, put on truck and throw on side, then straighten them, then cut and bend, fabricate them, and then let rust on them, and then use on them. What purpose it is? Half of the steel has gone waste. Same thing happened to cement. They brought cement, let it be set, use same, no problem. What they do actually, they mix big, when they are mix big, or say about 3 bags, about half a cubic meter, they mix and put on ground. Let it put there. Say for 2 hours, it puts, after I go lunch, come back and mix water and put it again. This is engineering here. It happens everywhere here. I have personally seen this. This quality we are giving, our engineer, that's why I'm saying our engineers are sleeping, all civil engineers are sleeping, leaders are sleeping, honors are sleeping, honor doesn't know anything. Leaders don't know anything, only engineers know, and engineers don't care. Government engineer, I mean, I don't care, my private architects, legally, what I do with, I'm just a design officer, I have to sign my this and get a building permit and leave it to you. When you finish, give me some money, I'll sign completion certificate for the commission, and that's it. An engineer, if some poor engineer is there, the article will give me 5,000 and 10,000 and it does nothing. Means only for money's sake you certify. Don't certify for work's sake. Even on big buildings I have seen, big projects. Projects costing billions of rupees, crores of rupees, same thing. I was on some site in some state and saw same thing. No care for steel, no care of form work, no care of safety, no care of anything, just go on constructing and hide defects. If you take out shutters, immediately you should inspect, you should check what defects are there. Take love, motabs, take masala and finish. Ho gaya. This is what we are doing. Our contractor sleeping, contractor engineer sleeping, contractor supervisor sleeping, government engineer sleeping, administrator sleeping, quality sleeping, everybody sleeping. You ask quality man something, that you ask some quality engineer, why this happened, why did you use GGBS, he will say it's not available. Why did not close his cement store, seal it? He doesn't know. He doesn't know how to even seal cement store. There are voids in cement store, corners are open, everything's open. Moisture comes in cement by the set. If you ask something, they will not reply. This is happening. What to do? If you ask them cube results, they will not tell satisfactorily. If you ask something, they will not tell. If you ask what about this standard deviation, they will not know anything. What about temperature control, they don't know anything. They don't know anything except the quality answer is I observed this and not in this. He observed but did not take an action. Quality only means observation, no means of fighting with side people, no means of resorting action. This is our country where we are. No, not acceptable. We don't accept this. But you are accepting this, unfortunately. What to do? It's not acceptable, but people are accepting. Anyway, it's not my job in this minute to talk about quality in this, because quality is different matter, but that affects life of this country. 90% buildings are quality less. No quality, no system, nothing. Money is being wasted. People are cheated. Public is cheated, and people are making money indirectly. They are just made tremendous money, spoiling material. Steel is spoiled, concrete is spoiled, everything is spoiled, and that is called work in this country. And it's unfortunate that's why I'm saying our people are sleeping. A sleeping country, non-serious country, rubbish in this way. Quality where it is rubbish. Maybe a small company or big company, small people, big, all in same boat, no difference. You cannot say if project is government project is very good. No, you cannot say that. If project private, no, it doesn't matter if government or private. All are in the same boat. All have same habits. Masons are having same habits. Corporates are same, and leaders are same. We are engineers are having same habits. Engineers are also, until engineers become serious, this work cannot improve. Quality cannot be improved. You go and see the difference between Gulf work quality. I was in Iraq and I know what quality is. I was in Doha, I know what quality is. I worked in many Gulf countries, I know what quality is. I was in Libya, I know what quality is. I am here, I know what quality is. I can say in name of quality, Ram Bharose is running. The phrase is running in the Ram Bharose, and that's all and nothing else. Jai Bharat, Jai Aapka Samay. Dhanyavad.